This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Such a change, but on the line, is there anybody that you see some hope with right now?
Well, I see a lot of hope in that room. I mean, I'm always going to root for the offensive line. Now, they need a little bit of time to gel and come together. Like you said, a lot of these guys came in last year, didn't have an off season. This year, things are so watered down now. They don't have a lot of time to work together. And once again, they're going with multiple lines instead of, again, I hate to go back to this, my rookie year. They put Richmond in, and that was it. They didn't rotate 4 or 5 guys in. The backups had to go left guard, right guard, that kind of thing. But the 5 guys they wanted to be there opening day, they let us play those positions and let us play together. I think maybe they have to try to get to that way and commit to a group of 5 for 4 or 5 games and say, you guys got it for the next 4 or 5 games. And then you evaluate how that line performs each week and grows. And if after 4 or 5 weeks, they're not doing it, then you make the substitution. But to pull a guy out in the middle of the game, unless he's having a completely horrendous game, I wouldn't do that, or injury, or to substitute guys week to week without injuries, I think it's tough to get that continuity on the offensive line. But I believe these guys were drafted, whether they're drafted because they have potential. They just need to put that potential together with results. And I think at that point, we'll be a lot more positive on what comes out of the offensive line.
Now, to Jesse Davis's defense, he's had some knee swelling.
Yes.
And he allowed the most pressures this week. This is why I say go with Eichenberg already and go develop the kid, because one, this gives Jesse Davis hopefully a little time to recover being the 6th guy, and he's so good at being able to play multiple positions. You really don't have another guy like that. So if something does happen to somebody else, he can be the guy that fills in at the same time. So it's kind of a double whammy. It allows you to throw the young man in there and finally find out if he can play. You've got the veteran out there right now, and he's not 100%. So you're really not doing him a favor by playing him like that. And you've gotten to know a little bit of Jesse. He's a tough bitch.
He is.
He's going to fight through it. And, oh yeah, coach, I can get it done. And you know how it is. They've got to protect you from you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Shula used to ask us, are you hurt? Shula used to ask us all the time, are you hurt or are you injured? If you're hurt, you can't play. If you're injured, everybody's injured. And that was one of those things that Jesse's in the offensive line mentality is, hey, you play, that when you're called upon, you line up and whatever you can do. That was a lot of games I played when I probably shouldn't have played. And I think the mentality has changed a little bit, but you're right, where if you get to the point where you're not able to function and you're hurting the team, then you may need to take a week or 2 or 3 off. And that would play into the ability of, hey, if you put Lamb in and he performs well, you let him go a little bit. But I understand Jesse's position. You never want to be the guy who steps out and then loses his job permanently. Because even though we value that 6th lineman role and know how valuable it is, if you asked me, would I want to be a 6th lineman, a valuable position on a team, and have a 10-year career, or start for 8 years, I would rather start for 8 years. And that everyone wants to be a starter and wants to be out there. There's roles that need to be filled. And if he slides in that role again, then I think he'll do a great job and be a great teammate. But I think once you get the taste of starting, you want to be a starter. And it's hard to step back unless you're forced to step back.
And you're going to make a little more money, too, on top of all that. By the way,
this is the Big O Show.